Hello, my name is Jason Green. I am an owner of a franchise now for 7 years. Last week, actually. Wonderful time to be in business. I bought into the franchise when there was 9 stores and growing. There's now corporate's 3 stores and my 1. And I'm looking to break free from them and continue my mission of changing the world one cheesesteak at a time. Those who know me know that over the last few years I've been doing different things through the store to try to make a difference in my local community. This is an idea I've had that I bounced around with my father, who actually passed away 6 months ago. And he told me I was crazy when I had it, but now that he's not here, I guess he's not here to stop me, so I'm going to continue with it. I thought of the concept of, why do business owners strictly worry about bottom line, stockholders, that kind of stuff? Why can't a business be there to benefit the community? I've done things over the years, little by little, what I can afford to do to help out in my community. Every month I do different fundraisers for different organizations. Like right now I'm doing Help Us, Help Pets, which I'm collecting dog and cat food and toys and stuff, which I give you a $5 gift card, and that stuff is given to local nonprofits that board house dogs and cats in the area. Next month actually starts my 4th year of doing the Food Bank Food Drive, which I work with the U.S. Postal Service. They do Stamp It Out for Hunger program every May, you might have heard of. Well, I do it the whole month of March and April leading into May. I give you $1 off each sandwich when you bring me in a canned good. I give you $1 off each sandwich, up to 4 sandwiches for 1 non-perishable, and it helps me stockpile food up here for my postman. Especially in today's day and age, stuff like that is in need because there are so many people that need our local food banks. This attempt that I'm trying to do today is much greater than that. It's actually greater than anything I personally need. It's more or less to try to raise money to help others around me in my community that are struggling due to these tough times, not even just myself. A small portion of it is for myself, obviously, because who wouldn't want a piece of the pie? No. But what I've come to realize through my love of politics and all that is that everyone places blame on everybody, but nobody has any solutions. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is ideas I have for solutions in today's world that we're in. I guess I'm looking at it as like $5 for my thought kind of deal. Like, what I have to say is worth $5 to you. Hey, you'll donate to my cause, and it'll help me and help others. I guess I've done a lot of soul searching through the years and trying to find out who I am and what I want to be. My love of politics makes me want to go that route, but knowing what's out there as politicians, I don't want to be that. I think we lost where we came from. I think we need to, get back to the basics, I guess. Keep it simple, stupid. Great book if you want to read it. We've lost everything. Family unity, family values gone out the window. They call us a welfare state for a reason, because it's easier to take the handout than to work for it nowadays. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be the handouts there for those who need it, but there needs to be better ways to regulate it. Example, I have a customer who is on a bowling team, a softball team, and rides a motorcycle, but is on disability for a bad back. So someone please explain to me how that works. If we had a system in place where once you were on some sort of assistance, that you can be spot checked and checked on to follow-ups. I don't think the system's being run right. And in all the systems, whether it's the welfare system, system, anything. Unemployment, great example of unemployment. Obama extended unemployment 99 weeks. Hey, my mother was on unemployment. Hers ran out in November. She's 64 years old. Who's going to hire her? It worked well. She has till this May when she can get on Social Security. so she has a little gap, but due to me and, you know, her, she'll get by. You know, that's what family's for. Family unity, bring it back. You know, there's a reason why 38% or 39% of, you know, welfare recipients are white, and, you know, 38% of them are black, and only 2% of them are Asian, because Asian community still has that family unity. You know, Bill Cosby, you know, can sit there rant and rave about the black community, but guess what, Bill? It's not just your community, it's mine too. You know, we're all in this boat together. We need to get out of this boat together. You know, we need to get the ship sailing, I guess is the best way to put it. Wasteful government spending, everyone can complain about it, but what are you going to do to change it? You know, what are you doing to make less government spending in your community or your, you know, your area? You know, I know personally of right now of three different organizations locally that have seen cutbacks in grant money, which, hey, I'm not an advocate for grant money to begin with. I think if someone believes in it, they should support you in it and your organization will grow. But my friend Sarah, who, you know, says not everybody thinks like you, that you need those organizations, you need the government backing of it because of not everyone's going to put it out of pocket. Well, if states like California with 60-some% tax, who can put it out of their pocket anymore? If there was less tax and more charity and more people caring, maybe it wouldn't be that way. Great example would be is that, you know, back in the day, families were too proud to go on assistance. People took care of their own, as they would say. They worked together with their people. A great example of that would be my great uncle Nook. He had a sister whose husband passed away. Not only did he make sure his kids were provided for, but he made sure his sister's kids were provided for. That they had, you know, new school clothes in the fall. That they had, you know, gifts for their birthday, gifts for Christmas and the holidays. You know, that's out the window. Now that happens, they go, okay, well, go apply for some, you know, SSI, you know, for your kids. You know, it's so much easier just to, you know, pass it along the buck on to somebody else than take responsibility and step up to the plate and help others. You know, they talk about this fiscal cliff and bad spending and this and the other, but has one politician said, look, I'm not taking a paycheck. I'm doing this because I care. I mean, if you look at our founding fathers, what were they? They were farmers, inventors, scientists, writers. They weren't all a bunch of lawyers sitting in a room making laws. They were everyday man taking their time out of their own time to step up to the plate and do it. You know, another brilliant idea of mine is, why do we pay these guys, let's say reps in Congress, $148,000 a year? Well, if the average American makes, so if we're paying congressmen $148,000 a year, but your average American only makes $50,000 a year, there's something wrong with this picture. So why not, I don't know, I'm calling, I guess you know, why not pay them based on their area, the average salary of their area, which for my local market would be, you know, $48,000 a year, and then they get a stipend for their travel to and from DC, or, you know, or to and from Harrisburg for the state, and then we house them in hotels that are built, and there's a job creation in itself. You know, building the hotels, union jobs, of course, and then, you know, people manning working the hotels that they stay in, you know, jobs, you know, for life, I guess you could call it. You know, just something simple like that, it prevents that wasteful spending. It makes me feel more at ease, you know, when I pay my taxes each week. You know, we weren't getting any raises in taxes is BS. I mean, everyone saw a cut in their check. I saw, you know, a cut in my check, just like everybody else around here. It's a tough economy, you know, but you got to do what you got to do to get by, and you got to work harder to make less. Is that the right way to look at it? No. Why don't we reinvent the wheel, change things up? You know, I'm not saying, you know, history repeats itself. So where are we right now in comparison to history? Are we in the Great Depression again, or are we So what broke that? Was it prohibition? Was it, you know, a war? What was it? You know, I don't want a war. Wars are a mess. You know, we learned that we can't handle wars right. We're idiots. You know, but why not prohibition? How about that idea? I don't know. Legalize marijuana maybe? You know, tax it, regulate it, prevent the $100 billion that we've spent all over the last 40 years on the war on drugs that is a joke. Instead of, you know, spending instead of spending, you know, $100 million a year on the war on drugs, why don't we build, you know, better security along our borders and, you know, tax the hell out of it here in the States? I mean, it's going to happen. Although my negative is that there's no way to breathalyzer test it like we do alcohol. Until we have that invention, I guess we shouldn't have it legalized, but I'm sure there's technology out there. We have technology for everything. Why not that? You know? I'm just going to ramble on for a while. You know? I don't know. Here's another hot topic, I guess you could say, is gay marriages. You know? Everyone's like, oh no, you can't. Why not? Obviously, us heterosexuals can't get it right. Why don't we see if they have the right answers? I mean, what is it? 68% of all marriages today end in divorce, I think that the numbers went up to. You know, if they want to be stupid like the rest of us, why not? You know, I'm an advocate, you know. And hey, local towns and communities and all that, don't you charge like a fee for licensing and all that? There you go. There's another taxable income. You know, it's those kinds of things that we, you know, that are hot topics that, you know, get my blood boiling. You know, gun control. I mean, the last gun I bought, I literally left my house, went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and was back home within 45 minutes. You know. What if I came home from work and my wife was in bed with my best friend and I was, you know, heated by it? I drove to Dick's, grabbed the gun, and came back home. Not saying that, you know, you can't go in the kitchen and grab a knife or whatever, but I don't know, maybe some kind of regulations. I'm not saying a holding time for everybody or everything. I mean, it was my 5th gun, so it's not like it was my first time going through the system. But I still think that there needs to be some type of regulations. Maybe not to the extent that, you know, this country feels that we're going right now. You know, a ban of assault rifles, a ban of this, a ban of that. Maybe not a ban, but maybe a restriction of some kind, you know. There's no, I don't know, there's got to be a happy medium to everything. And by the way, I'm a registered independent. I hate both parties equally. I touch topics on all avenues, you know. Chris Christie's weight is another hot topic of today. I'm a huge Chris Christie fan. Obviously, I'm huge just like him, you know. But I'll tell you, Chris, right now, in 4 years from now, you're not getting elected at 334 pounds. It's not going to happen. Not saying you were not capable of doing the job, but America judges us for who we are on the outside. I mean, you know, look at Obama. I mean, Obama was judged based on his race. Not that he had a white mother, not that he had a white grandmother, and that's who he was raised by, but he was judged by his skin color. You know, do I agree with it? No. But it's the way today's society is. There's you know, TV influences us in all different ways, you know, in positive and negative. I mean, my new favorite show on TV is The New Normal. You know, you have a gay couple who has a surrogate mother and her, you know, teenage pregnancy daughter living with them, and it's a great show. It shows you how far we've come, but yet how far we have to go in today's society, you know. But enough of my ramble on about that kind of stuff. I want to get into, you know, the idea of why $5. $5 is not a life-changing amount of money for anybody, but when you add a bunch of $5 up, it is. You know, today I was just watching a news report that tomorrow during, oh my God, I draw a blank. During his State of the Union address, President Obama is going to introduce an idea of another stimulus package. Let me fill you in on his first stimulus package. $2.5 trillion was spent. How much of that was wasteful spending? Depends on who you ask. I can tell you over 50 billion of it, or I'm sorry, yeah, 50 billion of it went to companies that went bankrupt. You know, it's, you know, we got a national debt of 16 trillion. What's another 2, you know? According to, it's going to create jobs. Yeah, it's going to create jobs, all right. It's a mess. We're a mess. Instead of complaining about it, do something about it. That's why I'm here. I have an idea. This is strictly an idea. Don't know if it'll work, but there's no harm in trying it. My goal is to raise $500,000, which in comparison to $2.5 trillion that Obama spent on his stimulus, my cheesesteak stimulus doesn't sound so bad at $500,000. With $500,000, it's going to give my wife the security that she wants. It's going to give me the opportunity for business growth and job creation here. And branch off from the corporate that in which I'm a franchise of. Since taking over my store 7 years ago, first thing I did was I revamped the menu. I created lunch and dinner specials and party trays, which didn't exist beforehand. With my idea for dinner specials, like give an example for tomorrow, I do a $4.75 plain cheesesteak at regular size, which is normal cost is $7. Why so cheap? Well, the money's in volume on my end. And my philosophy is I'd rather make 50 cents off of you every week than $1 off of you once a month. You do the math, see how it works. You know, people today don't realize that times are tough. You gotta save money where you can. Thursday nights, I do buy one cheesesteak, get the second one for $3. That means a great savings of what? A gallon of gas in today's day and age, you know? You gotta do what you can do for your customer. I believe that I have a business plan, a motto that's going to help me expand. My problem is that I have as Mel Gibson said in The Patriot, I have a tyrant that is in my pocket. I want him, I want him gone. Since in the last 6 months, I've introduced the soft pretzel roll, which is our great roll turned into a soft pretzel, and I introduced a gluten-free cheesesteak, which I've yet to find anywhere but now. Citizens Bank Park, which I'll accept because I'm a Phillies fan, has it also. But my motto is that community, bringing it together. So Monday nights is going to be community night. 5% of the sales brought in on every Monday night will be given to a different organization. But every first Monday of each month is my night. My dream, which you can read on the plaque on the wall when I was nominated for 40 Under 40 this year, my dream is to start a self-funded nonprofit. Strictly no government grant money, no self-funded. Make it completely self-sufficient. So my ideas involve investment properties that help people get back on their feet. So basically, example would be a couple who lost their home due to economic times. They're struggling. Well, they move back into a house. We'll call it house A. They move into house A. They pay rent, or as they would be, as equivalent to what they could afford as a mortgage. During that year that they're living there, or 2 years, depending on how the program gets set up, a percentage of that rent that is paid goes into a savings account for them for when they move into when they're actually able to move into a home of their own. So it's kind of helping people get back on their feet. We all complain about all this stuff, but nobody's willing to step up and do something to help them. Another avenue that I'd like to go into is, recovery. My dad, when he passed away, had 16 years sober. He told me if I could raise $1 million, he'd sell me his house at half the value, and I could turn it into not a recovery house, but a sober house. The whole idea behind this sober house is different than any other recovery house that I'm aware of, is that, you know, they have the, you know, there's 18 of them in Lower Bucks County. You know, these kids, gentlemen, whatever you want to call them, are paying $140, $150 a week, and they get nothing in return. They get a roof over their head, food in their belly. No, they don't even get food in their belly. I'm sorry. They get a roof over their head, and they get a place to shower. Food is actually something you got to bring in yourself these days. But same concept of $150 a week. 100 of it goes into paying for you know, the upkeep of the house, maintenance and all that, mortgages, insurance, all that. $50 of it goes into a savings account, and after a year of living there or 6 months living there, they get that money back as a down payment for either, you know, an apartment of their choice or whatever. It gets them on that next level. Nobody's willing to help. You know, that's the whole concept behind it. I'm calling it actually Anthony Marino Project. I actually have a lawyer hired with the paperwork to get the nonprofit going. It's about having them funds together step by step to get it off the ground. But I'm doing something simple as, you know, breaking free from my franchise. I'll have, you know, less money in royalties I'll have to pay each month. So why not share that with my local community? Why not? Because I'm a greedy business owner. I want to keep it all to myself. That's why. No, I'm not that guy. If you haven't learned that by now. I'm that guy who wants to share. If I hit the lottery, everybody would get money. I mean, it's what, $209 million this week? You know how many lives I could change with that? You know? But no, something as simple as if I take $50 a week and put it in a pool. I actually recently started doing a rewards program. Every rewards member comes in, swipes their card. I'm going to have them write their name and number on the back of the receipt. Stick it in a jug. At the end of the month, pick one name with the number out of it. So we'll call it Tom Jones. Hey, Tom Jones, I know you know someone who's struggling, because in today's economy, everybody's struggling. I'm going to give a $200 gift card to either a supermarket or, shoot, today with gas shooting up the way it has, or a gas station. Say, hey, give me a name and address of this person and just mail it to them. No questions asked, no thank yous needed, but maybe it'll make their life a little bit easier. Maybe it'll make, you know, $200 is the equivalent to what we saw in the Social Security tax increase, you know, for a person making $50,000 a year. You know, $200 a month is probably a huge help to most people. You know, simple little things like that, you know, not an issue. You know, a portion of the, you know, $500,000 I'd like to raise, give my wife her sense of security, is taking a big chunk out of my mortgage at home. Well, nobody wants to have a mortgage, you know, but, you know, I look at it as I'm investing in, by doing the fundraiser, it's investing in the future. By doing that, I will now work without a salary for at least the next 2 years. And, you know, I'm going to continue that program, mortgage. Yeah, taking a chunk out of the mortgage, give my wife that sense of security, and utilize what I would pay me into growing the Anthony Marino Project. You know, I would love to run for office one day, you know, but I want to be able to say, look, I'm not going to take a $180,000 a year job, providing for people who only make $50,000 a year. But I think in order to be that person, you have to lead by example, set that way. It's not about what you're going to do once you're elected, it's what you did before you got elected and continue that on from there. That's how I'm looking at things. If I can say, hey, look, I made a name for myself by doing this, this, and this, not by raising $2 billion in the campaign like Romney and Obama did this past year, by saying, look, this is what I did, this is what I want to continue doing, this is the difference I want to make. That's how I want to run for office. I just think we need to change things, and someone's got to start it. Someone's got to stick their foot down, and say, look, this is me. This is what I want to be. This is what I believe in. I mean, Obama, 3 weeks ago stated, bringing faith back in America. Well, I challenge you, Mr. President. What are you going to do to bring faith back in America? This is what I'm trying to do to bring faith back in America. Steak and Hoagie Penndel, how can I help you? That's it? Your name? Jim, I'll see you in 10. Bye. So you think I'm nuts, right?
It's a good idea. You gotta take it hard. So, I mean,
What's that? Yeah, why not? You know what I mean? It'll increase my sales on Monday. It'll, you know, all that. It's just a fucked up world, man. And nobody's willing to step up. Nobody. Dude, I mean, even fucking the Pope's stepping away. So how creative are you?
Very.
What's your view on Christy?
My mom's a teacher, and he always gives the teacher's problems, so I don't like it.
It's funny, is my cousin and his wife are both teachers in Jersey,
Yeah.
and he was so anti-Christy, and in the last year and a half, he's come along to realize like he's just looking out for the best of, you know, the big picture, you know. It's just, you know what? All these programs, unions, all that, they were all created to make a difference, to you know, stand out for the worker, because, you know, Big Brother was beating them down, you know, whether it was, you know, private, you know, business owners, a lot of them are scumbags, you know, a lot of them are scumbags. I'll be the first one, man. I've met a few recently that, you know, I wouldn't leave $1 on that counter without, you know, thinking they wouldn't just grab it. You know, but, you know, and that's what the unions were there, to protect the worker. But now they're just, now you got some guy making $40 an hour watching two guys making $20 an hour dig a hole, you know, and then it's just wasteful. It's, you know, it's killed us as a country, you know, it's a shame, you know, but no one's willing and able to say, look, it was great, now we gotta tweak it. I'm not saying that all these things need to go away, welfare system, all that. They just need to be tweaked, you know? But nobody has the cojones or balls to tweak it, you know? Or at least admit that they should tweak it, you know? The Democrats place blame on the Republicans place blame on the Democrats. And what's it get you? It gets you nowhere, you know? It's a shame. It's sad, because the only one that loses is our kids and our future, you know? Go down to Center City and, you know, take a walk around. You know, over 200 years ago, you know, our founding fathers were there writing the Declaration of Independence. Now it's a joke, you know, like, dude, we're just going to be like the Mayans, you know, one day. That's how I feel like we're headed, you know, unless somebody steps up and says, look, we need to change things. We need to do this, you know. I don't know. I'm just a guy who makes cheesesteaks for a living, who has a lot of free time on his hands. I'm making a lot of sense. Depends on who you ask. According to my wife and my father-in-law, I'm crazy. You know, according to most people, I'm crazy.
Well, you're trying to make a difference. Everybody thought other people were crazy in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure this will put me on the FBI watch list. You know.
Well, I think just watching some Jesse Ventura stuff on YouTube and Alex Jones, they end up putting on that anyway. I watch that kind of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. See, yeah, and I don't even think about them. I just look at, like, nobody's willing to admit that they're wrong. Like, this morning I was watching something. He's a state rep from, shoot, where was he from? I don't know. He's been in Congress for 22 years. 22 years he's been in Congress. And he's like, yeah, it's all the Democrats' fault. You know, all their wasteful spending, all their poor projects, this, that, and the other. I'm like, you signed off on them, didn't you? You've been in Congress for 22 years, and you're just now realizing that there's pork in all these bills. You know, keep it simple. Get it, you know, back to the basics. I could ramble on for hours. I'm just going to follow up with one more thing, and then if any other food for thoughts you'd like to hear, you can find me on Facebook, either through my store, The Steak and Hoagie Factory. Yeah, The Steak and Hoagie Factory. Or my personal is Jason Green. Good luck finding me because there's a bunch of them. But one of the great debates today is Obamacare. You know, nobody knows what's in Obamacare. Every year we get another surprise thrown at us from it. Unless you watch Fox News Network, there's a guy who has a book that you can buy for $19.99 that'll tell you all about Obamacare. But my philosophy on Obamacare is very simple. Look at how the post office is run. And if you're from Pennsylvania, look how the state liquor stores are run. And then you can realize is that maybe government shouldn't be poking their hand in business. Or maybe they should get themselves running like a proper business before they start getting into more businesses. You know, if I was to spend more than I make, where would I be today? I wouldn't be standing here behind this counter. Thank you for your time. Hopefully it was worth $5. If not, I'll continue fighting the dream anyway. It actually was set up on GoFundMe, GoFundMe.com. Originally I was going to do Kickstarter, but with Kickstarter you can't talk about things that you'll do for other people. You can only talk about, you know, raising money for yourself. And what I forgot to tell you to account for in this $500,000 I'm going to be raising is that A Hero's Welcome is a great organization. I actually was able to participate in one on Thanksgiving Day for a kid that used to work for me. He's not a kid, he's 21 now. That worked for me here, Marine, second tour back from Afghanistan. And it was the most amazing experience of my life. And what they do is, it's you know, a bunch of volunteers, bikers and firemen and policemen that all get together and they give them it's an amazing welcome. I can't even explain it. Like, it's just amazing. You could probably Google it and find it on YouTube or whatever. But I'd like to donate to my local chapter, you know, a $5,000 gift card to Dunkin' Donuts, because they provide breakfast and stuff for these guys when they meet up in the morning, and you know, it's just a great, you know, organization. Another thing I'd like to do is Liberté, which is an organization local in Bensalem. It's a women's drug and alcohol where they can live at with their kids while they go through, you know, treatment and all. Very near and dear to my heart. Connie, I've been working with them for years now. Last time I was over there talking to Connie, they've taken a big hit in government grant money, which is to be expected when, you know, their government doesn't have any money. So I'd like to, you know, send $25,000 their way of that money. And then right now, actually, one of the programs I'm currently working with is called Bucket Up, Bucks County. It's for Family Services Association. They have a shelter, and you know, locally that the kitchen needs to be remodeled. They have actually only owned it for 1 year. It was run by the Red Cross before them, but it's in much need of a new kitchen, and they're trying to raise $200,000 for a new kitchen, which right now I'm running a program is anybody who orders a salt pretzel roll, I'll donate $1 from the salt pretzel roll cheesesteak to them. But I'd like to better that by saying if I can raise my full $500,000, I will donate $40,000 for equipment for them for their kitchen. And then, and if I don't make the $500,000 goal, because I'm a gambler, Whatever is raised will strictly go into starting a nonprofit called the Anthony Marino Project, which will be about restoring faith in the community and rebuilding ourselves and helping us. So then I get nothing. If I don't make the goal, I get nothing. If I make the goal, it's a win-win. But either way, it's a win in my eyes. It's a win-win. If I don't make the goal, my nonprofit gets its launch. If I do make the goal, it gets a launch and then some. So it's a win-win. So I thank you for your time, and hopefully I can do this.